Just a routine deep scan, they said. The 3 alien female guards had other plans. Unexpected assignment. Marcus Reed clutched his equipment case tighter as the shuttle docked with Celestia Prime, the massive orbital station gleaming against the star-studded void. Emergency calls weren't unusual in his line of work, but something about this one felt different. The quantum drive fluctuations they described shouldn't have been possible with standard technology. The airlock hissed open, revealing a sleek corridor bathed in soft blue lighting. 3 figures stood waiting, their uniforms marked with the engineering corps insignia. Marcus's breath caught slightly. The Zorani were known throughout the galaxy for their striking appearance and brilliant minds, but nothing had prepared him for meeting them in person. The tallest stepped forward, her violet hair streaked with silver catching the light. Technician Reed? I'm Commander Sarah Dawnlight. These are my colleagues, Engineer NYX Starwhisper and Junior Officer Kira Moonshadow. Her voice carried authority softened by warmth. NYX, with her copper eyes gleaming with barely contained amusement, offered a crooked smile. Welcome to our little corner of chaos. The quantum drive has been throwing tantrums all week. Kira, the youngest with an azure gaze that seemed to see straight through him, nodded quietly. We're grateful you came on such short notice. Happy to help, Marcus replied, trying to focus on professionalism despite the unexpected flutter in his chest. Let's see what we're dealing with. Sarah exchanged a glance with her companions before continuing. Before we proceed to the quantum chamber, there's a mandatory safety protocol. The energy fields can react unpredictably to biological signatures. We need to perform a compatibility scan. Standard procedure? Marcus asked. NYX's smile widened. Very standard. Very thorough. Something in her tone made Marcus's pulse quicken, but he nodded. Lead the way. The sisters guided him toward a private scanning facility, their movements perfectly synchronized. Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that this assignment would change everything. The extended calibration. The scanning chamber was smaller than Marcus expected, its walls lined with crystalline panels that pulsed with gentle light. The 3 Zorani women moved with practiced efficiency, their fingers dancing across holographic controls that materialized in the air. Please stand in the center circle, Sarah instructed, her professional demeanor firmly in place. The process requires direct bioresonance contact to ensure accurate readings. Marcus stepped onto the platform, feeling the subtle hum of energy beneath his feet. Kira approached first, her touch feather-light as she placed her palm against his temple. Try to relax. Our species can sense biological rhythms. It helps us calibrate the equipment. Her skin was warm, almost luminous, and Marcus felt an unexpected wave of calm wash over him. NYX moved to his other side, her hands resting on his shoulders. Your heart rate is elevated, she murmured, mischief dancing in her copper eyes. Nervous about the scan, or something else? Just, not used to this much attention, Marcus admitted, his voice rougher than intended. Sarah circled around him slowly, her violet gaze assessing. She stopped behind him, her hands settling on his back. The quantum field responds to emotional energy. We need to map your complete biosignature. Her fingers traced along his spine, ostensibly professional but lingering just a fraction too long. The scanning equipment hummed louder, but Marcus noticed the sisters weren't watching the displays. Instead, their skin began to emit a soft golden glow, growing brighter with each passing moment. NYX's hands slid from his shoulders down his arms, her touch sending tingles across his skin. Interesting, she whispered. Your quantum signature is extraordinary. Kira's fingers moved from his temple to his chest, resting over his heart. Her azure eyes widened. Sarah, are you sensing this? The commander's hands tightened slightly on Marcus's back. I am. Her voice held an edge of wonder. This shouldn't be possible. Marcus's breath quickened as the 3 women pressed closer, their combined warmth enveloping him. The golden glow emanating from their skin intensified, bathing the chamber in ethereal light. What's happening? He managed to ask. Sarah moved to face him, her professional mask cracking to reveal something raw and vulnerable. You're resonating with our triad bond. That's incredibly rare. Once in several lifetimes rare, NYX added, her playful demeanor softening into genuine amazement. Her hand found his, fingers intertwining. We felt it the moment you arrived, but we needed to be certain. Kira's gentle touch on his cheek drew his gaze to her. The scan was real, but our reasons for conducting it personally. She trailed off, a faint blush coloring her luminescent skin. Marcus looked between the three women, his mind racing. The attraction he'd felt wasn't one-sided. The lingering touches, the intensity in their eyes, it all made sudden, overwhelming sense. So this wasn't entirely standard procedure. Sarah's lips curved into a small, honest smile. No. Though everything we discovered about your compatibility is absolutely true. She paused, seeming to struggle with her next words. We should talk. Somewhere more private. Confessions in starlight. The observation deck offered a breathtaking view of the nebula beyond Celestia Prime, swirling clouds of purple and gold stretching across the cosmos. Marcus stood at the viewport, acutely aware of the three Zorani women behind him, their reflections visible in the transparent aluminum. On our world, Sarah began, her usual commanding tone softened, we form bonds in triads. Three souls connected by perfect harmony, emotional, intellectual, and physical. NYX stepped closer to Marcus, her copper eyes reflecting the nebula's glow. We three have been bonded since childhood. Sisters not by blood, but by choice and cosmic alignment. It's extraordinarily rare, and we never expected to feel that same resonance with anyone else. Until you, Kira added quietly, moving to his other side. When we reviewed your assignment profile, something stirred in all of us simultaneously. We watched you interact with the station crew during your arrival. Your kindness, your patience with the junior technicians, the way you really listen when people speak. Marcus turned to face them fully, his heart hammering. I felt it too. I thought I was imagining it, or maybe just overwhelmed by meeting you. Sarah approached, standing directly before him. You weren't imagining anything. Zorani bonds operate on quantum entanglement at the cellular level. When four signatures align. She reached out, her fingertips barely brushing his jaw. It's undeniable. But I'm human, Marcus said, though he made no move to pull away from her touch. How does that even work? Love transcends biology, NYX said with surprising seriousness, her hand finding his. The universe has its own mathematics, and somehow, impossibly, you're part of our equation. Marcus looked at each of them, Sarah's strength and vulnerability laid bare, NYX's playful spirit revealing genuine depth, Kira's gentle wisdom offering acceptance. I'm only here for a week. My life, my work, it's all temporary assignments, different stations, different worlds. It doesn't have to be, Sarah said softly. Celestia Prime always needs quantum specialists. We need you. Not just for your skills. Her hand covered Kira's where it rested over his heart. Stay. Explore this with us. We understand if it's too much, too fast, Kira added, though hope shimmered in her azure eyes. Humans don't typically form polyamorous bonds. We would never pressure you. Marcus felt the sincerity in every word, saw the way the three women's glows pulsed in perfect synchronization, now gradually matching the rhythm of his own heartbeat. On Earth, you're right, this would be complicated. But out here, among the stars. He took a breath, making a decision that felt both terrifying and absolutely right. I'd be lying if I said I haven't dreamed of finding something real, something that matters beyond the next repair job. NYX's face lit up with joy. So you'll give us a chance. I want to understand what this is between us, Marcus said honestly. I've never felt anything like this before. Sarah's professional composure finally crumbled completely, revealing a radiant smile. Then let us show you. She closed the distance between them, her lips meeting his in a kiss that sent electricity through his entire body. It was tender yet passionate, controlled yet desperate. When they parted, NYX immediately stepped in, her kiss more playful, teasing, with gentle nips that made him gasp. Then Kira, her kiss sweet and exploratory, a soft sigh escaping her as she melted against him. The three women's golden glow flared brilliantly, washing over Marcus in waves of warmth that seemed to seep into his very soul. He wrapped his arms around them as they pressed close, for hearts beating in increasingly perfect rhythm. "Welcome to our constellation," Sarah whispered against his neck. Outside the viewport, the nebula swirled on, but Marcus's universe had just become infinitely more beautiful. Building the bond. The following days blurred into a dreamscape Marcus never wanted to end. Between his work on the quantum drive and the time spent with Sarah, NYX, and Kira, he discovered depths to connection he'd never imagined possible. Mornings began in Sarah's quarters, where she'd wake him with coffee brewed exactly how he liked it, a detail she'd noticed on their second breakfast together. "You're methodical about your work," she observed one morning, tracing patterns on his shoulder as dawn light filtered through the viewport. "But you forget to take care of yourself. Let me do that for you." Her kisses were always purposeful, claiming him with quiet intensity that made his knees weak. She'd press him against the wall before his shift, hands framing his face, violet eyes burning with possession and tenderness. "You're ours now," she'd murmur. "Never forget that." Afternoons belonged to NYX, who would steal him away during breaks with mischievous grins and whispered promises. She'd pull him into maintenance corridors and storage bays, her playful nature giving way to surprising passion. "I love how you blush," she'd tease, her copper eyes dancing as her lips traveled along his jaw. "Makes me want to discover all the other ways I can make you react." Her touch was everywhere, fingers threading through his hair, nails dragging lightly down his back, her laughter mixing with his gasps as she explored every sensitive spot she could find. In quieter moments, she'd curl against him, sharing stories of her childhood on Zorana, her voice soft with vulnerability. "I never thought I'd want to share our triad," she admitted. "But with you, everything feels more complete." Evenings were Kira's domain, gentle and profound. She'd guide him to the arboretum where bioluminescent plants cast ethereal shadows, and they'd walk hand in hand through manufactured forests under artificial stars. "Tell me about Earth," she'd request, settling beside him on moss-covered benches. "I want to know everything about the world that made you." When Kira kissed him, it was like coming home, slow, deep, reverent. She'd cup his face with infinite tenderness, azure eyes glistening. "You've awakened something in me I didn't know existed," she whispered one night, her forehead pressed to his. "A completeness beyond our triad. You're the fourth corner of our universe." Nights, though, belonged to all of them together. In the spacious quarters they'd begun sharing, boundaries dissolved into warmth and trust. They'd tangle together on the oversized bed designed for Zorani group bonding, limbs intertwined, golden glows pulsing in harmony. Sarah would take the lead, orchestrating their movements with the same precision she brought to commanding. NYX would add spontaneity, unexpected touches that made everyone gasp. Kira provided grounding, her gentle caresses anchoring them all. And Marcus discovered his role, the bridge between them, the catalyst that transformed their perfect triad into something even more extraordinary. "I never understood," Marcus breathed one night, surrounded by their warmth, their light, their love, "how lonely I was until now." "You're not alone anymore," Sarah promised, pressing a kiss to his temple. "Never again," NYX agreed, her hand over his heart. "Forever," Kira whispered, sealing the vow with a kiss that tasted of eternity. The quantum bond. On Marcus's last scheduled day at Celestia Prime, the quantum drive hummed with perfect stability, a testament to his skill and dedication. But the thought of leaving felt like tearing out a piece of his soul. The week had transformed him completely. Sarah found him in the engineering bay, staring at his packed equipment case. "Having second thoughts?" she asked, though her voice carried hope rather than accusation. "About leaving?" "Yes." "About everything else?" "Not for a single moment." Marcus turned to her, then to NYX and Kira who'd followed. "I've sent my resignation to the contract agency. If your offer still stands, I'd like to accept the permanent position here." The joy that flooded their faces, the way their golden glows flared brilliantly, confirmed he'd made the right choice. NYX launched herself at him with a delighted laugh, kissing him soundly. "I knew you'd stay. I told them you would." "We hoped," Kira corrected gently, though tears of happiness glistened in her azure eyes. "But we wouldn't have blamed you for choosing your freedom." Sarah approached with characteristic composure, though her smile was radiant. "Tonight, then. The bonding ceremony. If you're truly certain." "I've never been more certain of anything," Marcus replied. The ceremony took place in the same observation deck where they'd first confessed their feelings. The nebula beyond seemed to glow brighter, as if the universe itself approved. The three Zorani women stood in a triangle and gestured for Marcus to complete the formation, a quad, perfectly balanced. Sarah produced 4 crystalline tokens, each one pulsing with inner light. "These are quantum bonded," she explained. "Once activated with our combined biosignatures, they'll allow us to sense each other across any distance, to share emotions and thoughts when we choose, to never truly be apart." They each pressed their tokens together, and Marcus felt warmth spread through his chest as his token flared to life, its glow synchronizing with the others. The light from the 4 crystals merged, creating a brilliant golden column that enveloped them all. Through the connection, Marcus suddenly felt everything: Sarah's fierce love and protective devotion, NYX's joyful passion and deep loyalty, Kira's gentle adoration and profound peace. And they felt him, his wonder, his complete surrender to this bond, his overwhelming gratitude for finding where he truly belonged. When the light faded, they stood closer, foreheads touching, hands clasped. 4 souls, Sarah intoned. 1 constellation. Bound by quantum and choice, NYX continued. Through stars and lifetimes, Kira added. Forever, Marcus finished, the word feeling like a sacred vow. They sealed the ceremony the only way that felt right, with kisses that deepened into passion, gentle touches that became urgent, and whispered promises exchanged between sighs and gasps. The observation deck's darkness provided privacy as they christened their bond completely, for bodies moving in perfect harmony, golden light pulsing with the rhythm of their shared pleasure. Later, tangled together beneath the stars, Marcus traced the crystalline token now worn on a chain around his neck. Its warm pulse matched the rhythm of 3 other heartbeats he could feel through the quantum connection. "No more temporary assignments," Sarah murmured sleepily against his shoulder. "No more lonely nights in cold station quarters," NYX added, her head on his chest. "No more wondering if there's something more," Kira whispered, her fingers intertwined with his. Marcus smiled, closing his eyes and letting their combined warmth surround him. "Just us. Always us." The nebula continued its eternal dance beyond the viewport, but inside Celestia Prime, 4 souls had found their perfect orbit, a quantum bond that would outlast the stars themselves. Lessons. In a universe of infinite possibilities, love recognizes no boundaries of species, number, or expectation, only the truth of hearts that beat in harmony. True connection requires vulnerability, the courage to lower our defenses and trust that we will be caught when we fall into the unknown. Home is not a place but a constellation of souls, those who see us completely, accept us wholly, and choose us repeatedly across all the challenges that time may bring. The greatest adventure is not found among distant stars, but in opening ourselves to love that transforms us, completes us, and proves that sometimes, the universe conspires to give us exactly what we never knew we needed.